Well, MPS VII is the rarest of the mucopolysaccharidosis, and currently it's estimated that there are about 200 patients known worldwide, so extremely few patients. Historically, it was one of the early ones that were actually diagnosed, and this was initially by Dr. Bill Sly in St. Louis, and he identified the first patient back in 1973, and he also developed an enzyme replacement therapy at that time. But because of the rarity of the disease, there was nobody really interested in developing it for a commercial product until really much later with Emil Kakkis, who is the CEO of Ultragenyx, had promised Dr. Sly, I believe, that when feasible, he would develop the treatment. So that's what happened. The clinical trials were done, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials with very few patients. The phase 2 study had 3, and that was really a dose-finding study. And the phase 3 study had 12 patients, and it was very innovative study design where there was a blind start. So the patients were in 4 different groups and started in either placebo or drug at different times, blinded times. And this statistically gave the study more power. So the studies moved on. Then all of the patients rolled over into an extension study. So approval was granted in 2017 by FDA to the US, and 2018 to the EU. Since then, there's also been approvals in other countries, including in Latin America. We are finding more patients than I think that we thought we would initially. So it's been very interesting. Now we're starting to see patients in other third world countries, India. Well, we have one just recently in Taiwan, which is the first one that they've diagnosed. They have a lot of MPS II in Asia, but this was the first MPS VII. Also in Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, and so on. So it is, a worldwide disease, and the current status is that patients are being diagnosed. One was picked up. Well, I can't say it was picked up on newborn screening, but there was a patient identified in a pilot study on newborn screening, and at about the same time, a patient was diagnosed clinically in the same area. So given the rarity, I think we can probably assume that this was the same patient, but it was an anonymized study, so I can't say that definitely. But there is interest in newborn screening for earlier identification of these patients. We're currently participating in the New York State expanded newborn screening pilot study. So that is just about to start recruiting patients. I think things were delayed by the COVID situation. And there's also another study that will be starting shortly in France, just an MPS panel. So, so we'll see how that goes, and if this could provide earlier identification and earlier intervention, if possible. As we know with other MPS disorders, the sooner they are diagnosed and treated, they tend to do better.